Welcome to Mock Draft Madness, day 33 of doing a mock draft every single day until the NFL draft on April 25th. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. I actually have a decent amount of trade scenarios that I'm going to play out today, just based on some comments I got. So let's start it out right here. We have Caleb Williams going number 1. We're going to go Jaden Daniels number 2. And then we're going to go Drake May number 3. So we got 3 quarterbacks off the board right away. Obviously, this is not too much of a surprise. I got the trade scenarios typed out here on my phone just so I can remember them all. There's 4 that I'm going to try out today. At number 4, we're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. This is very realistic, in my opinion, of what the draft can look like at the top 4. At number 5, we're going to have the Chargers on the clock. I think there is a chance here that they are going to take I've been going O-line, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a Malik Neighbors type of receiver to pair with Quentin Johnston. At number 6, I find it hard to believe that the Giants would pass on a J.J. McCarthy here. I think, it is possible that they don't take him. They run it with Daniel Jones, and then they are in a position where, one of these teams is going to be able to get them. So I think what we'll do then is I'm going to have what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the Giants take Rome Odunze. So I'm going to have them pass up on J.J. McCarthy in this mock, even though I think they will probably take him. At number 7, we have the Tennessee Titans. Joe Alt is there. So now with the Falcons on the clock, I am going to have them trade back with, let's see, who do we want to come up? I'm going to have them trade up with the Broncos in this situation. I'm going to give them 12, 76, and 8. So they get our 3rd round pick. We move up 4 spots. We're going to force that trade through. Broncos are on the clock, and they are going to take J.J. McCarthy. At number 9, the Bears are now on the clock. I think this is kind of an interesting position for them. All the kind of the top tier guys are off the board here. And while I think Brock Bowers would be a nice addition, we're going to go Dallas Turner to the Chicago Bears. And let's go defense on this side to rush opposite Montez Sweat. I think they're a little bit bigger fans of a Jared Verse here, but we'll see, obviously, when the draft comes around what they end up doing. At number 10, we have the New York Jets on the clock. I think they'll probably go with a guy like a Talisa Fuaga or a Choi Fautanu, but in this situation where Fautanu gives them versatility, he can play like all 5 positions on the inside, on the line. And with the age and injury history of the Jets O-line, he may be a better option than a Fuaga, who is probably going to be a right tackle, right guard. And you get more, obviously, with a guy like Fautanu. At number 11, since the, quarterbacks are off the board, I think maybe this is one of the trade scenarios that I've seen is, or that was asked to do is, have Minnesota move back. And I just got to find a trade partner here. So let me kind of take a look at what I think could work. And the idea is they want to get back and grab some capital. Obviously, they do not have a 3rd round pick this year. So I think it is possible that maybe one of these teams may want to come up for a guy like Brock Bowers. Just trying to find the right trade partner here, because it is going to be hard, because I don't know if they're going to recruit a 2nd from this position for anybody wanting to move up. It's probably going to be a 3rd, which I think is not bad considering you really don't have a 3rd this year. Maybe if we look at, I think the Colts honestly could add like a really good weapon in Brock Bowers. I've had him going here before, and if it's only going to cost them like a 3rd-round pick, I don't think the thing is is the 3rd-round pick worth the 4 spots? So I'm trying to think of a team. So let's look at, let's actually take a look at the Rams. Maybe we give them 90, maybe we give them 83, 19, and 11, or is that too little? So the funny thing is, it says the Packers are interested in moving up. And I know this isn't going to happen, but the reality is that was another trade scenario that I was going to try, is having the Packers trading up. So do I think the interdivision trade is going to happen? No, but we know the Vikings are open to it because they did it with the TJ Hawkinson trade. So I am going to have the Minnesota Vikings moving back and recouping a 2nd-round pick. So we're going to force this trade through. Now the Packers are on the clock at 11, and I'm going to have them selecting either Jerzon Newton or Byron Murphy. That was kind of the trade scenario. They had Jerzon Newton in the comments, so that is what I'm going to go. It's not out of the realm that he goes before Byron Murphy. It really depends on what teams want. At number 12, we have the Atlanta Falcons on the clock. Laiatu Latu is going to be an Atlanta Falcon. Arguably edge one in the class. It really depends on what you want, whether it's Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, or Laiatu Latu. They all have different games, and the reality is they all probably rank on teams' boards differently. So far we have actually knocked out 3 of the 4 trade scenarios that I was going to do already. So now I can put the phone down. At number 13, we got the Las Vegas Raiders on the clock. I think with the idea that Cooper DeJean is here, any of these corners, I think they're probably going to go Terrion Arnold. I just love the way that he plays. I think right tackle is also a pretty big need right here. And I don't know if you value, I worry a little bit more about their secondary than I do about their line at the moment. So I'm going to go Terrion Arnold. Now at 14, we have the New Orleans Saints. They need O-line help badly. They need D-line help badly. I think with, Ramczyk kind of being in the situation that he's in with his knee, not panning out, and I was messing up. It wasn't Ruiz who I was thinking of. I was thinking of Andres Pete. Andres Pete, I think, is out the door. So at 15, if the Colts, if Brock Bowers is sitting here for the Colts, I think that's a pretty easy selection. At number 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I know and I agree that they're probably going to go O-line here. I just think this position is kind of tough because at 16, it's kind of early for like an interior O-lineman if they're not like generational. And none of these guys, in my opinion, are really generational. So unless there's a team that possibly wants to come up, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this pick, because I think like right here is where like the O-line really starts to go. And I was thinking possibly the Rams just to go get an edge, but they're probably not going to trade in division. And I'm not going to trade with the Steelers. I just don't see how they trade back. It's almost like they kind of are stuck in no man's land here. So I'm just going to go Jackson Powers Johnson, someone who can play all in 3 interior spots. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock. I think, it is... I think, I'm going to give them Quinyon Mitchell. I think they do need a really good corner to pair with Tyson Campbell. I think if they go into this year without adding any cornerback help, especially when a quality one is sitting there at 17, they're in a they might be in the spot to be getting diced up. At number 18, we have the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. I think there is a chance that you can grab a guy like J.C. Latham or Olu Fashanu because they're sitting here, but adding Byron Murphy to that defensive line is an instant impact. At number 19 to the Los Angeles Rams. If we take a look at their depth chart here, I think it is possible that they kind of add a tackle. Let's see. Yeah, so they have Rob Harvenstein and they have Alaric Jackson. So I think the reality is you can add a guy like Olufashanu who, Jackson isn't bad, but he's not horrible, but like you have to, good is not good enough. I think that's the best way to describe a team taking a player that, taking a player when they already have a player in place. Like for example, like if the Bears were to take like Joe Alt here, Braxton Jones is good, but he's not like good enough. At number 20, the other trade scenario that we had going is going to be the Steelers trading back and grabbing a second. So they're going to be moving back 8 spots. And I think the Buffalo Bills are probably a prime trade candidate because they need a wide receiver. And if they want to get the top guy, then they're going to have to move up probably in that second tier of receivers, which is probably Brian Thomas Jr. The issue is I don't necessarily know if that second is going to fly. So let's look at the Detroit Lions as well, who could come up here and grab like a Cooper DeJean. I don't know. I'm trying to think of they can go back and grab a second. Maybe I'm thinking. So who's on the board here? All right, I got an idea. So we're going to swap picks. I don't know. This is tough. I don't know in what world they stay in the first and recoup a second at pick 20. Because I don't know if moving even 12 spots is going to recoup you that second, I guess the idea is that they're able to, address all their 3 spots in the first, all their needs of wide receiver, tackle, and center in the first 2 rounds. But the reality is, I just don't know if that's possible without like completely shafting a team. Maybe we could do it with the Bills, though. Let's try to make it work with the Bills. Let's give them 28 and 60. We'll give them 20. But we're probably going to have to give them like 98 or something. I don't know if that compensation is that great, but we're going to force that trade through. So now the Pittsburgh Steelers have picked up an extra second. Like I said, guys, I don't know if that's realistic. Just wanted to try out the trade scenario. The compensation is probably not right. But I'm going to give them Brian Thomas Jr. to be their wide receiver run after Stephon Diggs was traded today. At number 21, we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock. I am going to give them Graham Barton, someone who can fix the interior of that offensive line. At number 22, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to give them Cooper DeJean. Again, Eagles fans want Cooper DeJean or Guyton, and that's it. At number 23, we have the Minnesota Vikings. They were able to add, Andrew Van Ginkel and, why am I blanking? Jonathan Grenard. I think, though, adding a guy like Jared Verse could be kind of disgusting. And you have a really good pass rush rotation then. At number 24, give me J.C. Latham. He can play tackle. He can play guard for the Cowboys. 25, we have the Vikings. Now, they traded back. They have, a second-round pick now. I am going to give them Michael Penix, and we're going to lock in our quarterback of the future. At number 26, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They need a corner a little bit. I like the idea of Nate Wiggins sitting here for them. They have Jamel Dean, but they let go of Carlton Davis. Kool-Aid McKinstry is also here. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at their corners real quick. Jamel Dean, Zion McCollum. So bigger guys. So the thing with Nate Wiggins is he is like 6'2", and it says 185. But do you think, I think if he's able to put on weight, he could be a good player. That's my main concern with him is the weight. At number 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They took Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first. I think the idea of taking a Marius Mims is interesting here because you could get a guy that you can develop behind Jonah Williams, have try to beat out. He can play both tackle spots, and he might be your tackle of the future next to Paris Johnson Jr. For the value here, it's kind of hard to pass up. At number 28, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their next pick is pick 51. So do we want to go, I think here, with the way the board has fallen, they need center, they need tackle, they need wide receiver. They have 2 seconds. The next string of... Here's the thing. You can go get your center in Zach Frazier. And then you can go get a wide receiver and a tackle. You can probably get a tackle here and a wide receiver here. Because the next center prospect probably isn't coming around until Cedric Van Pran. I don't know if you trust him. So I think it's kind of hard because it's between these two guys. And if you want value, though, I think Adonai Mitchell is probably the best player if you want to do BPA. There is guys like Kingsley Sumatia. I just think Adonai Mitchell is probably a little bit... You get more value with him. And I don't want to draft need. So let's go Adonai Mitchell to pair with George Pickens. At number 29, we have the Detroit Lions on the clock. Give me Kool-Aid McKinstry. 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. So they do need O-line help. They do need some edge help. They re-signed Justin Madubuike. I don't love the wide receivers here. Where are the Baltimore Ravens? Why am I blanking? Okay. Yeah, Broderick Washington, Odefe Owe, David Ojabo. I think this is a prime position where you could add a guy like Chop Robinson. You could also add, one of these guys here. Troy Franklin can stretch the field for you. I think he could be a good player for him. He kind of strikes me a little bit like a Baltimore Ravens player. And the next pick they have is pick 62, so they're not going to be able to get an edge. If we look at their wide receiver room, it is kind of desperate, though. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him Troy Franklin here. At number 31 with the San Francisco 49ers on the board, you know, I don't love the options here for them at corner, and they do need O-line help. Jake Brendel, 7th season, he's 31. Do you want to go center? Like, do you want to add a center here and then go tackle later? Because he is 31. You do need corner, but I don't know how much you value like TJ Tampa or Kamari Lassiter here. Let's go Zach Frazier. I usually go corner O-line for them. Kansas City Chiefs, I think, you know, they do need wide receiver badly. I think it's possible they get one in the second round. And the next time they're picking, the tackle class is just, the tackles are just not as good. So I think Jordan Morgan is probably a fair bet for them. This has been You Don't Know Ball Mock Draft Madness Day 33. We are getting so much closer to the draft. I'm hype. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft, as well as trade scenarios. The Falcons trade, the Vikings trade, the Packers trade, and the Steelers trade were all trade scenarios that I got left in the comments that I tried out. Let me know how you guys like them. Leave more so I can do them. We got like 25 days left to draft or something like that. Wait, 23 days, actually, I think. Because there's 50. I think I'm doing like 56 mocks. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.